Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Keith, I know you're getting big rewards, but you got to be quiet.
There's some more coming in.
He didn't hear me.
There's some more
That was funny.
coming
At this time, we'll open the City Council meeting for Wednesday, May 22nd, 2019. We'll begin with an invocation and then a pledge of allegiance. Please join us.
Will you bow with me? Dear Heavenly Father, just thank you for today. Thank you for the city and just all the people that live in it. Lord, as we change to another season and it's summertime and kids get out of school, I just ask for safety. I ask for good times and fun times for all the kids and parents and vacations, and just thank you for that. Lord, I just thank you for this city. I pray that what we say and do here today is pleasing to you. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The library did that so well. Thank you all for the pledge. At this time, we'll come down for service awards and the Blueprint Ribbon Award winner information. Oh, minutes, okay. Minutes from the March 29th meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Warren, second by Westbrook. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Now we'll come down for the awards. We have service awards this morning for 3 employees that equal 70 years of service to the city of Tyler. The first will be Jennifer Palmer, Animal Shelter Adoption Counselor, 20 years. Congratulations, thank you. Been around so you know to come back for the picture.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate your service. Oliver Hall with the police department for 25 years. Thank you for your service. Man, you got gray hair like me now, don't you?
Wisdom.
Yeah, well, here we go. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And Kevin Mobley with the police department for 25 years, and he also has gray hair now. Service. Okay. Come right here, right here. Yeah, I got to stand up. Congratulations. Absolutely. Absolutely. Who's going to come up and do A2? Who does A2? Okay, well, come on up.
Good morning. The Blueprint Ribbon Award is presented this month to an employee who has placed the highest premium on responsiveness to citizens' needs. The Blueprint Ribbon program was started on April 1st, 2004 to recognize exceptional employee performance. Ideal candidates for the award are employees whose ideas and suggestions have improved productivity, saved money, improved efficiency, or improved employee morale. This employee has been with the City of Tyler for 13 years. She works every day in so many ways to improve the lives of our citizens. Such dedication has given her a recent opportunity for a promotion. Additionally, she was recently nominated to be recognized as a City of Tyler Serve Star for going above and beyond for a particular patron. During her time at Tyler Public Library, she has assisted thousands of patrons with digital and informational needs. Much of this assistance can be seen in our computer lab, where patrons are assisted with job applications, resumes, various forms, and computer literacy needs. She is a go-to familiar face for many of our library visitors, as she is well known for her kind smile and willingness to go the extra mile. She's also stepped up and hosted various staff trainings within the circulation department of the library. She's trained new staff on customer service, passing on her spirit to provide whatever is needed to the library patron. She also trains staff on the day-to-day operations and functions of the circulation desk. Even using her creative side to enhance the library experience, she has taken her unique skill set of jewelry making to the next level by providing classes for patrons of all ages. Such services have been offered on repeat by popular demand from our citizens. All these things go well beyond her assigned duties as circulation assistant. She consistently offers her assistance and looks for ways to improve library processes, programs to ensure our community's needs are being met. She's created solutions to ensure easy printing capabilities for our library patrons who often come to us when they have nowhere else to go. Her mindset is always, if we can't help them, who will? In so many cases, the library is a last hope for people who don't have access to the resources they need on a daily basis. The recommendation is for her dedication to providing quality customer service and reaching way beyond the expectation of her job. It is recommended that the City Council recognize Amy Fortreed, Circulation Assistant, as the May recipient of the Blueprint Ribbon Award.
Thank you, congratulations. Good, thank you. Don't thank us. Thank you. Well, come back. Come on, you'll have a picture. Get in between us. Thank you very much. You want a seat? Okay. Just offering. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Good morning, Heather. We'll start with Z1.
Good morning, Mayor, Council. The first item is a request to change the zoning to allow for the development of a 200-unit apartment complex. All adjacent properties are zoned R1B single family and are generally developed with single family homes. This request would amend the single family medium low density to multifamily in this area. And while the RMF zoning allows for a maximum density of 24 units per acre, the applicant plans to develop a density that's just over 10 units per acre, which is very similar to our single-family zoning, which is 7 units per acre. A buffer yard of trees and shrubs will be required adjacent to the single-family properties. And of the 48 notices mailed, 1 was returned in opposition, 0 in favor, and there was no reason given for the protest, and then there was a letter received from outside the protest area, which was concerned about multifamily. And with that, the Planning and Zoning Commission, by a 6-0 vote, recommends approval.
Questions of Heather? Yeah, we have 2 cards.
Oh, okay. Do the cards first, yeah.
Have the cards first, okay. Mr. Stevens, would you like to speak? State your name.
Just briefly, short and sweet, we got it all settled in the zoning commission, but I want to thank the city for being so easy to work with, and we appreciate you guys donating part of your city land to let us make the streets larger. And also, that park that's been there for years and years, the builder included it in his budget, and we're going to get that thing developed where they can walk to a park instead of getting in the car and having to drive miles. So it's going to work out real nice out there, and all of the citizens out in this area are for it, and we appreciate the builder. He shouldn't spend $25 million doing all of this, and he didn't have to include the park, but it looks like it's going to be something done that's been needed for years and years. So
Great.
Thank all of you.
Great, thank you, sir, for coming. Mr. Wasson?
Yes, I'm a developer, and I'm ready to answer questions or...
Okay, great. But let's see if there's any questions first. Let's see. Are there any questions?
I have maybe some concerns here.
Okay.
Reading the report, I see it says Habitat for Humanity. Does this have something to do with that? Habitat?
Well, and if go ahead and come on up. State your name and address for the record.
My name is Jack Wasson. My address is 1265 Roma Drive in Frisco, Texas, and I'm the developer. And Habitat for Humanity contributed basically one of their parcels to provide a rear egress to the larger property. There's those 2 single lots that you see on the Priest,
right.
And one of them was taken out of the zoning request, the one that is separate, so that it won't create a trend of a multifamily on a single family. The other one is the rear access or egress for the major part of the property. It's a safety issue. So that's their part. They were posited for they are being compensated for this property, but the price was not really a lot. Let's put it that way. They wanted it to happen, and they wanted to do what they could to make it happen.
Okay, I heard someone say this is a $25 million project.
That's the budget that we estimate for the 200 units, for 200 apartments.
You have any idea of what these units going to cost per unit based on maybe?
Well, they're not going to be for sale. It's a rental property, market rate rental apartment project, 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom. And as we get closer to time, we'll determine the mix. But it's a multifamily.
Will there be any Section 8 housing in there?
Oh, no, it's market rate.
Okay, great.
There is no subsidized, no Section 8.
Good, that answers
Yeah.
my questions.
I don't do, I do.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate you.
I understand you've been
Yeah.
so kind to actually offer money for the park.
Yeah, well, I saw that when I contracted for the property, and I said, wow, we're right up against the park. This is a real asset for the community I'm building. And then I went over there with my GPS and found out that it was basically a jungle. Tarzan wouldn't be able to get through. So I made inquiries and found out that it was designated for a park, but there'd never been the money to do it. I said, we can find the money because it'll be the benefit for both our project, for the people that live there, and the community. And the community, I came in to the area and first talked with the Bishop Houston, the pastor of Smith Temple, and we had a talk, and I said, Bishop, if you guys are not for this project, then I'm not going to do it. because I don't have the time in my life to build where I'm not wanted or to do whatever. He said, we are very much for it. We had lots of discussions. And with that assurance, we proceeded. And,
Well, we hope you have a longer life than you think, by what you just said, so, and thank you very much for
Thank you very much.
coming
Thank
to
you,
Tyler,
sir.
yes.
Thank you for your investment.
And we do, we don't have a card, but I recognize Donald Sanders, a former city councilman, is here today, in support, I believe, of this? Yes, okay. So at this time, are there any questions?
Move to approve Z1.
Second.
Motion by McGee, a second by Moore. Any other questions or comments? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Z2,
This is a request for a special use permit amendment to remove an existing tower, cell tower, and replace it with a 110-foot tall monopole tower for an indefinite period of time. To the north and west is Zone C1 Light Commercial and is the location of a grocery store, and to the west is City of Tyler Water Tower. To the south is zoned R1B Single Family and is the location of cemetery. And to the east is R2 and it's developed as a single family home and an office. This property received a special use permit approval for a monopole tower back in 1999 for an indefinite period of time, but because they are removing the existing tower and rebuilding, it merits a renewal of their special use permit. They are proposing to accommodate up to 3 carriers on the pole. However, they are allowed to do up to 5. And of the 9 notices mailed, 0 returned in favor or in opposition to this request, and it was approved by a 6-0 vote.
any questions of Heather? So they're going to take it down and start over?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot of work. We have a card here for Jeff Keith. I'm assuming you're with the company. If there's any questions of you, you'll be available?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. Are there any questions of Mr. Keith? No. Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve Z2.
Motion by Sellers, a second by Suddeth. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Z3?
This is a request to change the zoning in order to relocate lot lines. All adjacent properties are zoned R2 to family zoning, and to the east and south are developed with single-family homes, and to the north and west are consistent with undeveloped, or they consist of undeveloped land and single-family homes. This is consistent with the future land use guide that identifies this area as single-family and single-family attached. The owner of the property to the south is purchasing a portion of the property from the north, and the zone change would allow the existing lots to be replatted and conform to the minimum lot size of 3,000 square feet. Of the 25 notices mailed, 0 returned in opposition or in favor of this request, and the Planning and Zoning Commission by a 6-0 vote recommends approval.
Move to accept Z3.
Motion by Moore,
Second.
second by McGee. Any questions, of Heather? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Z4?
This is a request to change the zoning to develop an 8-unit apartment complex with a site plan. To the north and east are zoned multifamily and consist of dental offices, and to the west is adaptive reuse with a single-family home, and to the south is office zoning with the location of Turtle Creek Surgery. This would amend the future land use guide to multifamily. The applicant proposes 2 two-story buildings consisting of 4 units each. A 7-foot retaining wall is proposed on the west side of the property, as well as the south end of the property, and a 6-foot tall wooden fence is proposed along the west property line. The current RMF zoning with setbacks of 25 feet along the front and rear side yards and a floodplain towards the northeast constrain the development portion of the property, so that's why they're coming in with a site plan for this. And the zone change would allow for the reduced setbacks, making the lot developable and to provide housing opportunities, which is needed in the Midtown district. Of the 16 notices mailed, 1 was returned in favor, 2 in opposition, and this would require a favorable vote of 3/4 of the council in order to approve. And the property owner, there was concern about the dust and debris during the construction activity, but not with the zone change itself. And as a reminder, the city of Tyler does regulate construction activity hours.
Question, I do have 2 cards, but do we have questions of Heather? Now, what are the 2 buildings adjoining it? What is that other lot? That,
The lot to the west
yes,
it's a single-family home.
okay. And then over there is the, okay. Now, so we do have 2 cards. One is the Brent Bradbury, and the other one is Travis Pierce. They are available for questions. I'm assuming if they'd like to come up, they're welcome to do so.
I'd like to ask Brent a question.
Okay. State your name and address for the record, please.
Brent Bradbury, 1537 East Grande Boulevard.
When you met with all the owners, I mean, I'm aware that you met with several of them.
Yes, sir.
What was the response, like, especially from the Rubies, Dr. Ruby, and the tree, and?
Sure. So we met with Dr. Ruby and Dr. Smith, which own the north and the east adjacent properties. There's a tree in the northeast corner. You can see it's kind of grayed out just to the east of the dumpster. It basically straddles property lines, and we work with them to kind of cut back the parking of the drive aisle to save that tree. And then there's a tree in the southeast corner right on the property line again. It's kind of grown into their parking lot, and they're concerned about that as construction progresses. And so that's just something we're keeping in mind and working with the developer to know that's a concern of the neighbor property if we need to remove it prior to construction and what the impacts will be. And when we met with them on site, we additionally, we first proposed a 6-foot fence along the north and east boundary, but both property owners weren't really a big fan of that. So we worked with Dr. Ruby to the east to remove the fence from the site plan and just plant shrubs where they have their trees and shrubs, just to fill them in to provide them a little bit of privacy, but not provide this dark alley since their building is directly adjacent to the property. Their eave would be basically even with the fence line, and that would kind of provide a dark alley where their employees access the buildings at morning and evening. So we work with them to do the shrubs instead of the fence. And then Dr. Smith to the north, we're just going to leave it, since our parking lots basically will abut. We're not going to do anything there, and that'll just be more of a drainage catchment for us to facilitate water back down to Fraser Street.
So everybody's pretty much okay for it, except for the dust during construction and all that?
Right. I don't think we ever heard back from the property to the south, the Turtle Creek Surgery Center, what their concern was. Talked with the neighbor to the west, and he was more concerned about the construction, not really opposed to the zone change, just more concerned about construction noise, things like that. And then Dr. Smith and Dr. Ruby it was a good meeting, and they were just concerned about water and the landscaping, and I think we've got those concerns fixed for them. So they're pretty happy with what we came up with.
What's the setback again to the residential, to the west?
It is 20 feet.
20 feet.
And as it sits today, it's about 24 feet from fence to building.
Okay.
And then from building to building is roughly 39 feet. And it is zoned AR, so it could be a business in the future. So it's used for residential now to kind of go either way. But
right.
I think their setbacks is 6 feet.
And how tall is the fence that you're?
6 feet.
Okay.
And is that covered parking, your parking covered?
No, ma'am.
No.
Okay, back to the tree.
Yes, sir.
If the tree dies because of construction, we all get rid of the tree?
We're going to remedy that. Yes, sir.
Okay. I move to approve Z4.
Second.
Motion by Warren, a second by Westbrook. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. On to Z5.
This is a request for a special use permit to allow for a child home daycare for an indefinite period of time. To the north is zoned multifamily and is the location of a church. To the east is R1B with a single-family home, and to the west and south is zoned R2 two-family and is also the location of a single-family home. The special use permit will allow for a maximum of 6 children for a home daycare in a residential zoning. The applicant is currently operating a daycare and has requested this special use permit to comply with the ordinance. The applicant is licensed with the state to operate a daycare, and of the 19 notices mailed, 0 returned in favor or in opposition, and the Planning and Zoning Commission by a 6-0 vote recommends approval.
I always like to verify this, even though it says indefinite, if there are issues, it still gets reviewed.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
I mean, if we get complaints or the state gets complaints, then we have the option to review.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions of Heather?
Move to approve Z5.
Second.
Motion by McGee, second by Sellers. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
This is a request to change the zoning to allow for commercial office development. To the east and south is zoned multifamily with apartments, and to the north and west is light commercial, and it's a mixture of undeveloped land and retail businesses. This would amend the future land use guide from single family to mixed use center. The zone change is requested to provide consistent zoning for the lot to allow for the construction of an office building for the company Homeland Title. As you recall, in March, the council approved a tax abatement agreement with Homeland Title for this subject property. The company plans to construct 20,000 square feet for their headquarters, and the building would create 24 new jobs in addition to the 20 current jobs. Of the 5 notices mailed, 0 returned in favor or in opposition to this request, and the Planning and Zoning Commission by a 6-0 vote recommends approval.
Questions of Heather? I have a card from Skip Ogle, and it says available for questions. I don't have any questions. Do you all?
My only concern is this going to be a distribution center? And there was some discussion.
There's no distribution center related to this headquarters. This is for a title company.
Okay.
But you might want to go over the uses that are C1 versus C2.
Okay, yes. So for a C1 would allow for some retail, restaurant, would allow for offices. A C2 is a heavier commercial use, and it would allow for some warehouse and distribution activities. And right now, this property is zone C1. This particular piece of property here that is up for consideration today is zoned RMF, and the request is to rezone it to C1 light commercial, which would not allow for a warehouse or distribution center.
Okay, any other questions?
Move to approve Z6.
A motion by Sellers,
Second.
second by McGee. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Z7.
This is a request to close rights-of-way to provide better campus security and circulation. All adjacent properties are zoned general, commercial, and institutional, and are developed with medical campus facilities. The applicant intends to replat the rights-of-way into the adjacent properties that you see here, which is primarily a parking lot. The request is in keeping with similar closures in the past for the medical campuses, and it's consistent with the Midtown Area Development Plan to provide additional spaces for pedestrian malls and the Midtown District. Any utilities present within these rights-of-way will require dedication easements at the time at which it's replatted. Of the 9 notices mailed, 0 returned in favor or in opposition to this request, and the Planning and Zoning Commission by a 5-0 vote recommends approval.
Move to approve Z7.
Motion by Warren, second by Westbrook. Any other questions of Heather? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Z8.
This is a request to change the zoning to allow for retail uses with an outdoor eating and entertainment establishment. To the north is zoned M1 and M2, which is a mixture of light and general industrial, and it's the location of a medical supply store and a storage building. To the east is general industrial and C2 general commercial, and is the location of a car wash and dry cleaners, which is along Beckham Avenue. And to the west is office and multifamily, and is the location of an office and single-family homes. To the south is also industrial and multifamily and is the location of a building material supply company. In addition, the Union Pacific Railroad right-of-way runs through the middle of the subject property. This would amend the future land use guide from neighborhood commercial to general commercial, and the zone change request to downsize from industrial to commercial zoning aligns with the recommendations from the Midtown Area Development Plan, which you see here on the screen, and it would encourage the appropriate commercial development opportunities in this area. The subject property is located along the potential pedestrian route that you see here on the map, and which was proposed in the Tyler First Comprehensive Plan and connecting to downtown to the medical district. Of the 21 notices mailed, 0 returned in favor or in opposition to this request, and the Planning and Zoning Commission recommends this by a 6-0 vote.
Any questions of Heather?
Move to approve Z8.
Motion by McGee.
Second.
Second by Moore. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
This is a request to change the zoning to allow for a mixed-use development. To the north is agricultural, single-family, and mixed-use district, and is developed with a hospital and medical offices, as well as single-family homes. To the east is planned commercial. To the south and west is agricultural and is the location of Faulkner Park and Day Springs Church. The future land use guide is identified as mixed-use center, and this is consistent with the guide. The applicant is proposing to develop 86 acres for a mixture of uses including retail, restaurant, lodging, and residential uses. The written narrative establishes zones and standards related to this development. The narrative also prohibits various uses such as firearms range, automobile dealerships, body shops, and others. A 15-foot undisturbed buffer will be provided along Cumberland Road and Zone B to screen development from the residential land uses to the north. The narrative stipulates that a final site plan would be prepared prior to any development. So the Planning and Zoning Commission, as well as the council, would see those individual site plans as they come in for your consideration. The street locations, alignments, and connections are shown on this concept plan for illustrative purposes only, and the final determinations of these alignments would be made at the time of the preliminary plat. And it would also require a traffic impact analysis as well, and so that would help with their determinations as to the actual alignment. The 2012 Master Street Plan shows a collector street running north and south through this property. The property to the south is owned by the City of Tyler and serves as an access road for Faulkner Park. It is not a public street, nor is it located in a dedicated right-of-way at this time. An improvement or consideration for this access road for the purposes of serving this development that you see on the screen will need to be discussed between the developer and the city prior to the submittal of the preliminary plat. So that is also part of the consideration for the alignment and determining that final alignment for the collector that you see here on the conceptual plan. To date, there hasn't been, to my knowledge, any formal discussions between the city and the parties involved to convert this access road that goes to Faulkner Park into a public street to serve the development. So just as a reminder, this is not approving the alignment, this is conceptual. There is a collector that is required as part of the master street plan. And as they move through the development process, they will have those conversations, and then they will do their preliminary plat to determine that alignment. Of the 15 notices mailed, 1 was returned in favor and 2 in opposition, and by a 6-0 vote, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval.
What was the attitude at P&Z on this?
Favorable.
What was the opposition?
Do you remember the opposition?
I believe in the cover memo, it refers to the person that came, wanted to see it remain as open wildlife area. The development provides, they wanted to see just for, well, I think it was the open wildlife area kind of remain. Is that correct?
Right. So they didn't want to see development on this tract of land.
Okay.
Right.
So no protest from the neighbors to the west of the hospital?
We have one here that's on the screen. You see that little red area?
Okay. And the church, there was no?
We didn't receive protests from the church.
And Rick Martindale is here for comments and questions, if y'all have any from him. I believe he would be the engineer planner for this project. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And so they're going to have to come back through with site plans.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, so this is just conceptual. I'm assuming the property hasn't, is it sold yet or not sold yet? And it has not sold yet, so this is just preliminary. We'll all have another discussion.
Yes, sir.
Or several discussions after this about the specific alignment and the specific uses, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Move to approve Z9?
Motion by Sellers,
Second.
second by Sudduth. Any further questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. And at this time, we will move to R1.
This is a request for a resolution nominating Tyler Regional Hospital, LLC, UT Health Tyler, for award of a State of Texas Enterprise Zone project designation and the job retention benefit under the Enterprise Zone program. We have representatives from the Tyler Economic Development Council as well as representatives from UT Health, including Eric Roach and Matthew Kahn, which is a consultant with Ryan. The Tyler Regional Hospital is a subsidiary of Ardent Health Services. Founded in 1993, they are headquartered in Nashville, Tennessee. Ardent currently operates 30 hospitals with 25,000 employees and has revenues of $3 billion. It operates the UT Health Tyler Hospital in partnership with the University of Texas System. UT Health Tyler is a full-service 502-bed facility. Tyler Regional plans to invest over $31 million at the Tyler Hospital campus to upgrade and replace machinery, equipment, and computer software over the 5-year designation period. Ardent currently has 2,036 employees at the Tyler Regional Hospital, and of those employees, 1,157 are full-time jobs per the definition of this enterprise program. These jobs meet the definition of a retained job. The Tyler Regional is targeting the hiring of 35% economically disadvantaged persons, veterans, or enterprise zone residents for new or replacement personnel for certified jobs during the enterprise project designation. They qualify under the Texas Government Code to receive an enterprise project designation because of the following criteria. It involves an expansion, renovation, or new construction. 2, it would be completed within the predetermined period of time not to exceed 5 years. 3, it utilizes an accounting system that allows for the tracking of income and expenses related to their facility. And 4, it would maintain separate payroll and tax records of the business activity conducted at the qualified business site. With that, it is recommended that the City Council adopt the resolution as presented.
So this has no impact on the local sales tax?
That is what I've been told, that they're not requesting that.
Would you like, we have
Yeah,
Felicia
sure.
Herman and Tom Mullins, they can.
Yeah, somebody come on up. State your name and address for the record, please, and we'll fill out a card after you speak. Is that right, Deborah?
My name is Matthew Kahn. My address is 2800 Barton's Bluff Lane, Austin, Texas, 78746. I'm with Ryan and Company. I'm here with Eric Roach, the CFO of Tyler Health. And we just wanted to thank the mayor and the council members for all their support so far, and Felicia for all the help for getting the application together. There's no effect on the sales tax or local taxes. There won't be any effect on any of that. We're just looking for a sales tax, a refund, and sales and use tax paid. There won't be any effect though on the local tax.
You know, I think the
You're,
project,
you're talking about the state
Yeah.
portion of it,
Yeah, the
not
state
the,
portion of it.
not the city's portion.
Right.
Yep, gotcha.
I think the project, what you're doing is exciting. I think it's good for Midtown. Personally, I think it's good for a balanced growth in the community, so I support it.
Is that a motion?
I will make a motion to approve R1.
Second, motion by Warren, second by Westbrook. Are there any other questions while we have these fine professionals here? No other questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mayor, council, you have item M1 in front of you. It is request that city council consider reviewing and accepting the revenue and expenditure report for the quarter ending March 31st, 2019. The information in your packet accounts for about 70% of the city's appropriations. The remainder are special revenue funds, internal service funds, and utility debt service funds, and capital project funds. This report compares actual revenues and expenses to date with revenues and expenses as of the same period last year. Budget revenues and expenditure amounts for the fiscal year can also be compared to current projection amounts. And I'll just hit some of the highlights of our major funds. The general fund, we're expecting revenues to be approximately 1.3 million greater than budget, largely due to sales tax. General fund expenditures are expected to be about 1.38 million less than budget, largely due to savings in salary and benefits. The utilities fund revenues are projected to be about 960,000 less than budget. As the obvious, we've been getting a lot of rain and we're just not, we don't have the sales that we've had compared to last year, so we're forecasting a little less on revenues. Also, expenditures for water utilities, we're expecting expenditures to be about 639,000 less than budget, largely due to salaries and benefits and utilities. We're seeing savings on the utility side as well, electricity and mainly electricity. Solid waste fund, our commercial and roll-off revenues are coming in real great, real strong. So we're projecting the revenues to be about 334,000 greater than budget. Also, we're seeing some additional expenditures as well due to the increased revenues, largely salary and benefits. So we're expecting the utility fund to be about 241,000 greater than budget on expenditures. Airport fund, we're expecting the fund to be about 64,000 less than budget on revenues, about 82,000, 83,000 less than budget on expenditures. Development Services Fund, about 73,000 less than budget on revenues. And about 71,000 less than budget on expenditures. Hotel Motel Fund, revenues are appear to be pretty strong at this point. We're looking at revenues being about 333,000 greater than budget there. So it is recommended the City Council review and accept the revenue expenditure report for the quarter ending March 31st, 2019. That concludes my report. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those.
And that's with 3/4 of the budget complete, right?
Well, this will be 50%. This is through
50%.
March.
Oh, through March,
31st,
yeah,
right.
I'm sorry, gotcha.
Well, we are getting
the
pretty
sale-
close to getting 3/4
Yeah,
complete.
what is the percentage of the increase in the sales tax this year?
We, last month, we were down 1%,
Right.
but year-to-date, we're up about 7%.
Right.
Fiscal year-to-date.
Right, right. So those are good, strong numbers, of
So,
course.
yes.
We need to still remain conservative on that since we did have a drop last month, but it's been strong this
Right.
year so far. Any other questions? Hearing no other questions, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Moore, a second by Sutton. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, the ayes have it, thank you. On to M2.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to be with you again. As you know, April of 2017, Tyler Water Utilities entered into a consent decree with the Department of Justice and the Environmental Protection Agency. And throughout the consent decree, found on pages 36, 41, 42, 43, and I could go on, Tyler Water Utilities is required to inspect its infrastructure, particularly manholes and sanitary sewer system. In many cases, however, before these inspections can begin, the right-of-way has to be cleared from shrubs, trees, inert and earth materials. And once these materials are removed, inspection and repairs of these sewer appurtenances can begin. So to address right-of-way clearance, in one phase, Introform and AE Schul worked together to address the right-of-way clearing on lines that were 10 inches in diameter and larger. The trees and shrubs larger than 6 inches in diameter have been left, and removal is now required. The work was divided throughout the basins to maintain a schedule in advance of the reporting requirements. So we are indeed ahead of schedule. Additionally, this particular work request also includes some remedial activities such as manhole work to complete this project. This project meets the bidding requirements for the state of Texas and also for the city of Tyler, and it's recommended that the city council authorize the city manager to award the bid number 19-010 for right-of-way clearing in the amount of $378,316 to the sole bidder.
Any questions of Dr. Johnson?
I do, Dr. Johnson. Did I hear you correctly that when you said that we are ahead of schedule in our right-of-way clearing and with the steps that we're taking in the consent decree? Is that correct?
We are ahead in several areas in the consent decree, largely due to Mr. Newhouse being dogmatic about submitting reports and having meetings and getting things done.
Well, I know the largest amount of expenditure is going to come when we start replacing these lines, but in the clearing of the right-of-ways and so on, it just seems like we should be a little further down the road, almost a little over 2 years into the project. So I was just curious.
Well, admittedly, one of the things we've asked council for during this budget year is a larger mulcher so that we can in-house take on some of the right-of-way clearing ourselves. So that request will be before you.
Any other questions?
Move to approve M2.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Sellers, second by Warren. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, the ayes have it.
Thank you, Mr. Newhouse, for your hard work.
Thank you. M3?
Good morning, Mayor and Council. In April of last year, Council awarded an engineering contract to Adams Engineering for the design of the Broadway Avenue drainage improvements, which will replace an existing storm drain along Broadway Avenue from Irwin to the Fair Plaza Garage. This is going to help alleviate flooding that occurs at the intersection of Broadway and Irwin. This project will require a temporary lane closure of the outside southbound lane of Broadway Avenue. The closure will begin at Ferguson Street and extend to just south of the tie-in location in front of the parking garage. The contract time is 60 days, and we expect construction to be complete by the end of August. Once the design was complete, the project was publicly advertised and the bids were received on April 23rd. We did receive 2 bids, with AAA Sanitation being the low bidder. Therefore, we are requesting that you authorize the execution of a contract for this project to AAA Sanitation in the amount of $349,465.
Questions of of Lisa, I'm sorry. Hearing no questions, is there a motion to
Move to
approve?
accept M3.
Motion by Moore, second by McGee. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. M4?
Good morning again, Mayor and Council, and again, it's a pleasure to be with you all. Thankful for our new council member, and welcome. In our efforts to ameliorate the demands for the business office, water business office, and reduce the challenges for Tyler Water Utilities, a meter management operation maintenance program, what Mr. Yanker is calling a MMOM, has been developed to aid in meter data recovery. On May the 23rd, 2018, City Council authorized the city manager to execute a meter reading service agreement with Craig Bonner and Company. This particular service agreement provided mitigating efforts to improve meter reading services for the water billing office. Using the State of Texas Local Government Code, Subchapter F, which allows cities to participate in cooperative agreements or buy boards, Tyler Water Utilities participated in the Houston-Galveston Area Cooperative for Meter Rehabilitative Services, or what is known as HGAC. This allowed the city of Tyler to take advantage of cost savings in an efficient and timely manner. Through the HGAC buy board service, Tyler Water Utilities selected Aquamatrix Sales Company to provide the necessary meter reading services for the water billing office. Some of the reasons this program, and the program I'm referring to is MMOM, some of the reasons this program is needed is due to MXU failures, and I have a copy of that on your screen now. And also, water distribution has endured more than 40% turnover of staff, leaving a tremendous gap of historical knowledge and experience. But due to the excellent work and working with our staff and the excellent work of human resources, we've been able to fill these vacancies relatively quickly. However, the experience and the technical expertise dealing with the advanced metering systems, or AMI, is hindering Tyler Water Utilities to address some of the MXU issues that we're having, and also doing replacements of the DNRs. The knowledge base of incoming staff continues to improve. Tyler Water Utilities will continue to move forward to reduce meter challenges while using the established MMOM program. The meter issues will diminish while we are using the program. And just want to make a note that in the contract that you have under Appendix B, under number 1 for field services phase, there is a section that specifically deals with the training of our existing staff. So using this program has several cost benefits. It will continue the continuity of meter change out, so we'll set a schedule where meters are being changed out more in a timely fashion. It'll increase the accuracy of data, and data accuracy, of course, means increased revenue. We will invest in our staff, those that are not necessarily familiar because they're new and we've lost historical knowledge. So we'll invest in that. And while staff is being invested in it, of course, we'll have improved data accuracy. Another cost benefit of the MMOM program will be revamping our standard operating procedures for repair, which will generate a timely repair for the meter services. So we request that City Council consider authorizing the city manager to execute this meter replacement or meter rehabilitation service agreement with Aquametrics Sales Company to do some troubleshooting and repairing of the meters that we are experiencing challenge with today.
And that's citywide?
Yes, sir, this is citywide.
Questions of Dr. Johnson or Mr. Yanker?
I just have a question. Do you read the meters now from a central location, or is there actually someone coming?
Jim, come on up.
Currently, we read the meters with our AMI system from 5 towers scattered throughout the city. There are some meters that are not read that way. Those meters have to be read manually. That is primarily what this service agreement is going to address, to reduce the number of those unread meters, and as well as to help our guys get caught up on them.
Thank you.
Move to approve item 4.
Motion by Westbrook.
Second.
Second by Sudduth. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We do have a...
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank you. We do have a consent agenda at this time. I'm not going to pull off CA8, which is, it's a large purchase of $378,000 that we would normally put on the regular agenda if it was not just a regular fleet purchase that is very common for our operation. And because of that, I didn't pull it off the discussion items. So I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion by Westbrook.
Second.
Second by McGee. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Now the city manager's report, and then we do not have any executive session, so you're it.
All right, sir. I've got a few things I just want to make note of for the city here. The Communications Department has been awarded a Platinum Hermes Creative Award for our 2017 annual report. The hashtag Time to Build, the future won't wait, neither will we. in the print media publications category. They also, working with the Tyler Police Department, were awarded the Gold Hermes Creative Award for our winter weather response in the social media interactive media category. And the Hermes Creative Award is one that is done between people in the public information, creativity, marketing areas. And so this was as far as humbling to be able to win these 2 awards. The City of Tyler, as y'all also saw, was recognized with United Way of Smith County for the Most Improved Campaign Award at the United Way Chairman's Award Luncheon this past week. Under the leadership of Davis Dixon, he formed a committee of different city employees this year to promote United Way participation, and we saw greater numbers than we ever have in the past years. We also, for an item that is dear to the mayor and to the council, we have a kickoff meeting of the citywide traffic study, or actually it was held on May 8th, involving staff from engineering, traffic operations, utilities, IT, police, and fire. Staff from each of those departments was able to provide information to the consultant regarding specific departmental needs. In addition, the consultant is currently collecting traffic counts in various locations around the city, as well as traffic count data from TxDOT. They're also using various applications to collect crowdsourced data along major corridors, such as speed and travel and delay time. Once all the needed data is collected, the consultant will begin working on the concept of operations, which will analyze existing conditions of the entire system, from traffic volumes to operational issues under several different scenarios, such as typical days or during severe weather events. This report will then form the basis for future recommendations. Data collection is expected to continue through the end of May, and the concept of operations report should be completed by the end of June. We're gearing up for summer, and our summer playground program begins Tuesday, May 28th. This program is free to children ages 6 to 12, and each child is served breakfast, lunch, and snacks provided by the East Texas Food Bank. Playground leaders are present to lead fun activities and games throughout the day. It's a Monday through Friday activities, and the park locations are Bergfield Park, P.T. Cole Park, and Emmett Scott Park. Also, you'll see the construction fence for the renovations at Southside Park go up after the Memorial Day holiday sometimes next week. This will block off the entire playground, pavilion, and restrooms until renovations are completed. We plan to add 2 extra porta potties to the area during the construction, which should last approximately about 2 months based on weather conditions. Also, we had yesterday, the Senate passed House Bill 4347, which is our Rose City Mud Bill, by a vote of 24 to 6. And now the bill will go to conference committee. We expect to get through conference committee and then on to the governor for his approval and signature. And lastly, I want to recognize one of our special members of our police department, actually 2 members, Tyler Police Officer, or K-9 Officer Garrett Martin and his K-9 Izzy attended the National Narcotic Detector Dog Association Conference in Fort Worth. Over 120 K-9 and handlers from across the United States attended the 4-day training and competition. Throughout the week, K-9s and their handlers participated in extensive narcotics training scenarios and classes. Upon completion of the training, all 120 K-9 teams participated in a narcotics detection competition. We're proud to announce that Officer Martin and K-9 Izzy were awarded the first place trophy in the competition, as well as the Bark, Bandit, and Trooper Award for the top score for all dogs over 5 years of age. Congratulations to both of them for an outstanding performance.
Congratulations to Izzy and Mark.
Yes.
Both of them. So at this time, we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you for your service.